Welcome to the PrinceOnyx Network. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your good guy here, PrinceOnyx, and I am back to deliver a movie review, which I haven't done in a while, but this is a movie review of one of my favorite comic book heroes and characters growing up since I was a child. I have practically all of their action figures. There are new ones on the way that I definitely will be buying. And yeah, so if you don't know, hopefully you guys are familiar with this theme song. I'm gonna try to like hum it or whatever, but X-Men, and I'm here to review the new movie X-Men Apocalypse, which I saw this past Memorial Day, this past Monday, with a good little small group of friends of mine who you may recognize from Confusion to Betrayal. So let's just go ahead and get into it, shall we? Now, I'm giving you a heads up. This is a spoiler review. If you have not seen the movie already, do not watch this video. Go see the movie and then come back and watch this. I'm just giving y'all a heads up. At first I was thinking, let me do a non-spoiler review, which I did for Days of Future Past, but how could I have done that? I mean, it's, you know, it was possible, and I did it back when I was on my webcam, but it's like, how can I do it without how can I do a non-spoiler review without somewhat giving away what happened? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let me go ahead and get into it, shall we? So let me just clear some things up at first. Again, this is a spoiler review, but let me just go ahead and clear some things up. So, for those of you all who know, who have been subscribed to me for a while I respect Bryan Singer as a director, his vision of the X-Men, I just never really agreed with. Because when you look back at the movies, the first X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men Last Stand, X-Men Days of Future Past, because he was a executive producer for First Class, thank God he wasn't a director. Anyway, it's like all of those films always centered around Wolverine in some way, shape, or form. They always centered around Wolverine, and everybody else was more of a secondary character versus being a main character. And my issue with that was that the X-Men are a team. It's not just one person. There is one person on the X-Men called X-Man, singular, not plural, who is the son, the clone of Cable, who was the son of Jean Grey and Scott Summers. But, you know, he's never in the movie. So he's never been in a movie. But, well, some people would debate that. But anyway, you know, with the movies, I felt like they always centered around Wolverine, and I just never liked that. Granted, Wolverine is an iconic character. He's a dope character. He's one of the baddest characters ever. Like, if I had to name my top 5 badass characters of Marvel, it would have to be Wolverine, Blade, Punisher, Deadpool, and probably it's a mix. The number 5 spot, it's a tie between Cable, Gambit, and Bishop. So it's like, you know, he's on the top 5. But it's just, I feel like the X-Men are a team, and it's not just one person. Oh yeah, also I forgot to tell y'all, this is going to be a bit of a long video. I know, right? I haven't done those in a long time, so go get your snacks. Be sure that you are drinking plenty of water, and let's go ahead and enjoy this video, shall we? So, you know, I just, you know, as a director, I never really liked his I respect him as a director, but I just never liked his vision for the X-Men. But anyway, with X-Men Apocalypse, it's set in the 80s, I believe 1983 to be exact, and it's basically it's starring the younger versions of Storm, Cyclops, and Jean Grey, and Nightcrawler, and Jubilee, one of my favorite. Anyway, so it's starring the younger versions of the X-Men before they, you know, become grown-ups and things of that nature. And it's basically the follow-up to what happened in the Days of Future Past. For those of you all who don't know what happened in the Days of Future Past, that was dealing with the Sentinel epidemic, where the Sentinels were created in the 70s, and they used Mystique's DNA, and, you know, Mystique is a shapeshifter. They used her DNA, put it into the Sentinels, and made newer models of the Sentinels after they had her DNA. And these newer models, they can go around and, like, let's say you are a mutant who could manipulate fire, pyrokinesis. the Sentinels would then use ice to basically essentially kill you and get rid of you. So it's basically like they can use whatever, they can shapeshift into any mutant power so that they were able to fight other mutants. So, you know, so that they were able to fight mutants and basically annihilate them. But then the Sentinels ended up going crazy and they ended up killing off pretty much humans and mutants. They were killing off humans because there were certain... Real bad. Anyway, because there were certain mutant humans who carried the X gene and could have had children who would have grown up to become mutants. And they were killing off mutants, well, because they were mutants. And so you had the X-Men in the future, those who were still alive, and the X-Men in the past, and it was pretty much a race against time. Either way, to sum it up, Mystique ended up saving the day and stopping Magneto from causing the Sentinel epidemic. And once she did that, she later escaped. Magneto, he wasn't put in jail. He was put in jail, but that was after First Class. Anyway, Magneto, he ended up escaping, and nobody ever heard from him again. And that was that. And they saved the future, and, you know, none of the people who died in the future actually, I mean, they died, but, you know, they saved the past, thus preventing the future from happening when everybody got killed. So, you know, it was like time travel is a very tricky thing, but for those of y'all who understand it, you understand it. Again, you know, get the movie, go see it. Well, go see it as in go buy the movie, and, you know, you'll understand it. So anyway, like I was saying, with X-Men Apocalypse, it is basically following up after that. And Magneto, he is over in, I want to say Poland. Yeah, I want to say he's over in Poland, and he has started a new life. No one knows who he is. He changed his identity. He went by the name of Henry, which was like Henrik or something like that. He got himself a wife and a daughter. And surprisingly enough, his daughter, she was a mutant. Her name was Nina. And she could control animals, essentially. So she had the power to talk to nature, pretty much. So, yeah, she can control birds and deers. And, you know, they were her friends, essentially. And he was living a happy, you know, good life. Mystique is actually over in Germany, where she she recruits, kind of, or saves a young mutant by the name of Kurt Wagner, who is in a fight cage with Warren Worthington, aka Angel, and she saves him because him and Angel are basically supposed to fight to the death or whatever. And she pretty much, you know, shuts off the cables and all that good stuff. She saves him, and they teleport. They teleport to this place where, like, we meet Caliban, who's from the comic books. He's a part of the Morlocks, which we have not been introduced to yet. But I feel like with them introducing us to Caliban, we may see the Morlocks in an upcoming film, possibly. And we also, that was when we met Caliban, we also saw one of my favorites, Psylocke. And so, yeah, basically, Caliban, his power is that he's able to, like, track mutants. It's kind of like being, like, Professor X and his computer system Cerebro, but it's like a human form, if you will. So, Caliban is able to find different mutants, and I think he's able to find, like, specifically powerful mutants. Either way it goes, there's that. So, with the story, just to, like, clear the air or whatever, with the story, it centers around Apocalypse, aka Unsaba Noir, his birth name, and he is believed to be the world's first mutant. And so basically, you know, in the movie, it starts out with him, you know, way back a long time ago, like the year was 3600 BCE, and we were in Egypt, in Cairo, Egypt, to be exact, aka Kemet. And him and his original 4 horsemen, they were going into a tomb because he was looking for a new vessel, if you will, to transfer his consciousness into, because he was on the brink of dying. And whenever he was close to death, he always transferred his consciousness to the next mutant, not only giving them his ability, but he would gain their ability. And so the mutant, who we never know what his name is, but this mutant, he's like laying there, and they cut into him at first to show Apocalypse's power. This mutant has the power of regeneration, meaning that basically nothing can kill him. So when they cut into him with the blade, made a thin cut like into his chest, that cut ended up healing. Apocalypse laid to the left, and the mutant who Oscar Isaac played laid to the right. And one of his horsemen, she pretty much she chanted something over him and just basically told him, relax and go to sleep. And they let the transformation begin. letting the sun enter the pyramid, and all types of stuff was going on. But unbeknownst to the Four Horsemen and Apocalypse, the people around him, they ended up betraying him. The guards and the soldiers, they ended up betraying him because to them he was a false god, and so they weren't having any of that shit. So they ended up betraying him. His Four Horsemen pretty much killed as many of them as they could. But the problem is that the guards had ended up like knocking these huge blocks into the pyramids, and they were like these huge rocks were knocking down structure, like not poles, but stone. I guess you can call them poles made out of stone. They were knocking them down, thus causing the pyramid to essentially collapse. One by one, all of his horsemen died. The three of them died. The one who was the telepath, she pretty much took him and the dead Apocalypse, because his body had completely transferred, and the new Apocalypse, she pretty much was taking them. She put on took off the old Apocalypse's clothes, put them onto the new Apocalypse, and then they both were at the very bottom of the tomb. The old Apocalypse was a skull, a skeleton turned into dust, so he was gone. Anyway, the new Apocalypse, they were both down there. Rocks were falling. She used all of her last power to pretty much put him in a cocoon and protect him. And then as she saw a big rock about to come and crush her, she just closed her eyes as she held on to using the rest of her powers to protect him from the rocks that were falling. Boom, she dies. Apocalypse is safe. The rocks cover him. He's asleep for forever. And so basically, we're in the 80s where Moira McTaggart, she had went to Egypt on a mission because she works with the CIA now, and she was uncovering this secret cult who have went around the world essentially finding the history of Apocalypse and praising him and worshiping him. I guess they were hoping that one day he would wake up. Anyway, he does wake up, and when he wakes up, he starts going out and recruiting his horsemen. He first finds Storm, who is played by Alexandria Shipp. And okay, let's take a pause for the cause. Actually, let me check my camera right quick, because I know I know I've been talking for a long time. Okay, I got 17 minutes. All right, just making sure I'm good. Anyway, so Alexandria Shipp. When I first heard about X-Men Apocalypse and the casting, and when I heard that they had picked her, and just it was no shade against this young lady because she's a good actress, but it's just the Aaliyah movie, it really hurt her career because a lot of people looked at her, especially a lot of us, we looked at her and it was just like, oh girl, really. And then of course other people were very upset, including myself, because they didn't pick they picked the African American, but they didn't pick someone who was of my complexion or a brown skinned actress to play Storm, essentially. So, I get that, because it's like, again, we have to understand. You have to understand. Well, you don't really have to understand because it sucks. Yeah, these studios do need to cast, a dark skinned or brown skinned actress to play Storm. Will they ever do it? I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. But, I bet you if X-Men actually was at the Marvel Studios and not with Fox, I'm sure Marvel would go out of their way to get a dark-skinned actress, brown-skinned, dark-skinned actress to play Storm. They would go out of their way to do that. But, they didn't. It's X-Men was sold to Fox. Marvel sold the rights to them. And now it's ironic because Marvel is trying to get those rights back. But it's like, they got them and Fox got, Marvel and Fox got some serious beef. Hopefully they can settle it one day. But either way, it sucks. It really sucks. But Alexandria Shipp, I can honestly say, as a fan of Storm, she did a good job. She really did a good job. To be honest with you, yes, listen, I'm just let y'all know now. A lot of the characters like Cyclops, Jean, and Quicksilver, and Nightcrawler, and Beast, Storm, Psylocke, Angel, Magneto, even damn near everybody's lines were very limited. And part of the reason why is because Apocalypse focused on Mystique for the most part, because again, from Days of Future Past, with her saving the day and stopping Magneto, she became not just a nationwide hero, but she became a worldwide hero to a lot of mutants. Like, a lot of mutants would have her posters up. Throughout the movie, you would see a poster of Mystique up, and it's like a lot of people look up to her essentially. Like Storm, when they introduced us to Storm, and she was talking to Apocalypse, and he asked, "Who is that?" She was like, "Oh, you know, she's my hero. I looked up to her. Da 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 da. Like, you know, she saved the world or whatever the case is." But anyway, you know. Yeah, so it's like, anyway, Alexandria Shipp, she did a really good job. Like, you know, as a member of the, I guess you can say I'm a member of the comic book community, even though I haven't bought a comic book in a while, but I have a stack of them, you know, the older comic books. But either way, I can say that she did a really good job. I'm proud of her. She did a really good job. And to be honest with you, the accent, I actually like the accent. I did. Now, when Halle Berry did it in the first film, to be honest with y'all, I can't even remember when she did it because I was so used to her talking without the accent, because Bryan Singer had told her after the first film to get rid of the accent because I guess he didn't like it. But either way, I liked Alexandria Shipp with the accent as Storm, and you know, yeah, she's not dark skinned, she's not brown skinned, but man, listen, like, either put up or shut up. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, either put up or shut up. Like, you know, it's no offense to anybody, but it's like, no offense to any of my brothers and sisters out there, but it's like, you either make your own Storm movie, write a script, get you an agent, do what you gotta do, get financing, you know, make a fan film like a group of people did that's on YouTube. There's a fan film called Rain. RAIN. Just look it up. Rain, short, and enter in short film. It's basically a little short film. It's a standalone movie about Storm. Look it up. The actress who they had in there, she did a good job. She was brown skinned. Like, she was brown / light brown. She did an awesome kick-ass job. Anyway, yes, like I said, she did a really good job. I love the fact that we not only got to see Psylocke, but we got to see her in the fucking ninja suit, just like in the comic books. The original purple ninja suit with the sword and just the psychic knife that she created with her hand. I was like, oh shit, like, just seeing Silent, like the purple in her hair, I'm like, oh shit, like, it was fucking dope, like, it was fucking awesome. And then Storm with the mohawk, like, do you know how long we've been waiting to see her with the mohawk? Like, damn, like, oh my god. Anyway, damn, I'm really trying. Anyway, what else? I mean, the movie is just really good. Like, it was really good. Like, a lot of people are saying that it's anticlimactic and they didn't like it. Whatever. My thing is this. For film critics, I feel like this. If you don't understand comic book films, don't go watch the movie. Have someone else who is a film critic but also a comic book fan watch the movie, because I feel like a lot of film critics don't understand comic book movies, so they always go in with the bias of, I don't understand it, therefore it's terrible and you shouldn't watch it because of XYZ reasons. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Anyway, like I was saying, it was just a really good movie. Like, so anyway, what happened with Magneto is that people ended up finding out who he really was because he had saved a coworker of his at work, because his coworker had failed, and he failed because all around the world, when Apocalypse woke up, it sent a shockwave around the world. Everybody felt it, even all the way in New York at the X Mansion when Jean Grey was having a nightmare and she could feel Apocalypse's presence. And Professor X had to talk to her. So it's like over in Poland at the factory, it was like this pot, this big pot full of like molten lava, because he worked in a steel mill, I guess you can say, like where they worked with metal and blacksmith and stuff like that, and like smolding or whatever. So it was like the guy fell on the floor, the pot was about to fall on him. Magneto, aka Henrik, aka Eric, he used his powers to stop that from happening, and some people had saw that and he thought they didn't. They ended up going to the police. The police asked him, you know, who are you really? He told them who he was, and you know, they were going to arrest him. Now during this, when they were about to arrest him, his daughter, the Nina, the little one who could control animals, she was controlling the birds, and the birds started attacking the police officers. One of the police officers who had a bow and arrow, he ended up letting the arrow go, and the arrow ended up going through Nina and his wife and killing them both. He ended up taking the little necklace that had both of their faces in it. He ended up taking that and using that to kill the police officers, because the police officers didn't have any metal on them, because once they found out who he was, they were afraid to try to arrest him while having metal on. Either way it goes, he killed them, making the metal charm, the metal chain link, whatever, go through their necks. He killed them, and then he went to the factory where he was about to. If Apocalypse didn't show up in time, Magneto was going to turn that motherfucker out. He was going to slaughter them. Magneto shows up with Storm and Psylocke, and he pretty much tells them, he pretty much just, tells him, I didn't come for them, I came for you. Basically like, Apocalypse is the type of guy who, he's very manipulative. I would say that's one of his mutant powers. Being manipulative, it can be a mutant power in some way, shape, or form. He is very manipulative because he would tell each of his horsemen, Angel, Psylocke, Storm, Magneto, that he can increase their powers, he can do this for them, he can bring out their true potential, blah, 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 blah. He's the definition of filling himself, if you know what I mean. He's kind of like the definition of filling himself and finessing in the same sentence. Like, he'll finesse your ass into being one of his horsemen if he really wants you. Either way it goes, he does that. And so yeah, he has his 4 horsemen. When they found Angel, they found Angel due to Psylocke, and then he basically gave him his metal wings, which is a comic book inaccuracy because really he got his metal wings from Mr. Sinister, but they didn't have Mr. Sinister in the film. However, Nathaniel X's who runs X's Corp, in the post-credit scene, they showed X's Corp 3 men dressed in black suits. They went to go pick up some samples of Weapon X, aka Wolverine's blood, from the Weapon X facility after Weapon X had got out and started slaughtering everybody and pretty much saved the day for the X-Men when they were all captured there. Either way, they got samples of his blood and they put it in a suitcase, and in the suitcase is on it and is embedded X's corpse. So that means that sometime we're going to see Mr. Sinister, possibly in the Gambit solo movie, as well as maybe even in the new Wolverine movie, also in the next installment of the X-Men film series. So yeah, he gave him his power. He gave him his powers essentially, and he gave him his wings essentially. Apocalypse gave Angel, aka Archangel, his wings, his new metal wings, and that was that. So then, when Professor X was looking for Magneto because he heard about the accident that happened with Eric, he found him because this was before Apocalypse created a helmet, a helmet for him to put it on, where he, like, once the helmet's on, Professor X can't get into his mind. He found that, and he basically... Oh shit, how much time we got, y'all? Okay, we got 6 minutes. Alright, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to like pause this and then start again. So give me a second. Hey guys, so like I was saying, this is a continuation. So this was like before Apocalypse had gave him his helmet. Anyway, like I was saying, before Apocalypse gave Magneto his helmet, Professor X had found him using Cerebro, and he was talking to him. He was letting him know, I feel your pain. I'm so sorry for what happened to you. Please come back to us. There was always good in you. There is good still in you. And, don't do this. Da-da-da-da. Unbeknownst to him, Magneto was with Apocalypse. And once Apocalypse had felt Professor X's energy, he hacked into Cerebro. And he pretty much, was just like, thank you for Xavier for, letting me in. And then he pretty much wreaked havoc. He was pretty much like, because Apocalypse, his other powers involve telepathy and telekinesis. Professor X is the most powerful telepath in the world, but Apocalypse is pretty much kind of like the more powerful telepath. Anyway, he hacked into Cerebro. He was going through and just pretty much screwing with everybody's minds, and he pretty much made these U.S. Navy marshals and stuff like that. He made people in the government, not just in America, but across the world, he made people in the government set off nukes, and the nukes pretty much went off. They went into space, then they came back down to Earth, and I believe they exploded in the air. So yeah, they exploded in the air. They didn't kill anybody, but he made the nukes go off, and he just pretty much, he wreaked havoc. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of havoc, we do get, like I said, we get introduced to the young Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. His powers activate while he's in school. His older brother Havoc, which is another comic book inaccuracy. Havoc is he has always been the younger brother. Cyclops has always been the older brother. I don't know why they did that. To me, it's like it's ass backwards, that decision right there, because that comes from First Class. That was ass backwards to have Havoc be the oldest and Cyclops be the youngest. I feel like they should have switched that, but whatever. Anyway, Havoc ends up bringing him to the X Mansion, where he meets none other than Jean Grey, and they start off pretty rocky at first because he accidentally bumped into her because he had bandages wrapped around his eyes, because if he would have opened his eyes, the lasers would have came out and killed everybody. So he has the bandages over his eyes. He can't see anything. He accidentally bumps into Jean. She pretty much tells him, watch where you're going. And she like slick shades him because he's like, oh, get out of my head. And she's like, oh, please, ain't nothing to see. If anybody catch my drift, ain't nothing to see. So anyway, yeah, and then later on, you know, Kurt, he got brought to the X Mansion. Oh, and then we also saw Jubilee, and also there's a part where the four of them, Cyclops, Jean, and Jubilee, and Nightcrawler, go to the mall. Most of those scenes from the mall, like, we see them exiting the movie theater, and that's about it. I think the rest of those scenes we will see on the DVD, like the deleted scenes, and there'll probably be like an extended version of the film or whatever on DVD. So, yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, Cyclops met Jean, all that stuff. Speaking of Havoc, so when Mystique, Hank, aka Beast, Alex, aka Havoc, and Moira were in Cerebro, and Professor X had got hacked, Beast had helped to get the helmet off of him, off of Xavier, and pretty much Xavier told Havoc to wreak havoc. And so he used all of his power, all of his might to destroy Cerebro. Once Cerebro was destroyed, they were in the hallway, and who do they run into? Apocalypse and his crew. And then Magneto kidnaps Charles, and they run off. Now when they were trying to run off, Havoc had ran up to them, and he tried to stop them using his power. He accidentally ended up blowing up the ship, well, not the ship, but the X-Jet, or Warbird, as it's called. He ended up blowing it up, and he could have killed everybody. This is when Quicksilver comes in. He saves the day. He saves everybody in the mansion, except for Alex, because, okay, this is what pisses me off. We finally get to see the Summers brothers on screen, which is what we've been wanting forever. We wanted to always see all of our favorite characters forever, and it's like we finally see him on the screen, and the two of them on the screen, the Summers brothers, even though it's briefly, but we see them on screen together, and Havoc pretty much gets killed, and I'm just like, really? Like, damn. So it's like, because of course, you know, he was the closest to the blast, so it's like when Quicksilver went into the mansion, the fire where Havoc was, he was pretty much engulfed in the flames, so he ended up dying, unfortunately. And it's like, it sucks, but then it's like I have to think about it from a logical standpoint, because it's like, what if the actor who plays Havoc, what if his contract was running up and they didn't extend it or renew it? So that's probably why they killed him off. But it's fucked up still, because, like, damn, we finally saw the Summers brothers, and then you just kill Havoc off? Really? Like, damn. Anyway, again, I respect Bryan Singer as a director, but with his vision, I can't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I saw the movie, but it's like, that's beside the point. It's just his vision. I can't agree with it. It's like, why would you do that? Anyway, like I was saying, so yeah, that happened, and then as I had mentioned earlier, the whole Weapon X thing with the post-credit scene. So William Stryker, he ended up coming to what was left of the X Mansion, because when that power wave had went off, and when Xavier, you know, was hacked by Apocalypse, they tracked it to the X Mansion, not knowing that Apocalypse is the one who started this. So they ended up knocking everybody out, all of the mutants, and they kidnapped Moira, they kidnapped Hank, they kidnapped, Quicksilver, they kidnapped Moira McTaggart, and Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jean ended up hiding in like the remains of the mansion, and Jean used her power of telepathy to hide the three of them. Now it's really screwed up in this part, because I feel like they underutilized Jubilee, because it's like we see her, but she's still more of a minor character. Even though she has a few lines here and there, we never get to see her use her powers. And I really just feel like when it comes to fanfare, I feel like with Bryan Singer, it's almost like a tongue-in-cheek type of thing. It's like a cheeky type of thing. Like, he'll put people in the movie, and it'll be like, oh, there's so-and-so, there's this person, there's that person, oh, there's Jubilee, there's Dazzler, there's this person, there's Blob, there's this person. There, you know, it's like he'll put people in the movie, but it's like he'll underutilize them. Like, you know, Jubilee is a fucking iconic character in my eyes and in my heart. I don't care what anybody says. I know a lot of people, a lot of X-Men fans don't like her. Oh well, too fucking bad. Jubilee is one of the baddest. If I had to name my top 5, no, better yet, top 7 female women of X-Men, it would have to be Jubilee, Storm, Shard, Polaris, Psylocke, of course, Jean Grey, and let's see who else. Domino. Damn, I'm gonna have to low-key extend this to my top 10. Emma Frost, Rogue, as I'm looking over at my action figures. Yeah, Emma Frost, Rogue, Sage. Let's do top 12. X-23, Wolfsbane. Who else? I'm looking over at my action figures. Anyway, you get the point. It's like, you know, a lot of the X-women are very iconic, and Jubilee fits into that category. So it's like, I feel like she was very underutilized, and I feel like she should have went with them when they went to, she should have went with them to the Weapon X facility to help with fighting, to help them with rescuing the members who had got kidnapped. So anyway, when they had went to the Weapon X facility, as I said earlier, Weapon X, aka Wolverine, he got out, and he got out thanks to Jean unlocking his cage where he was locked up in, because they were in the room that also had like the power system in there too. Because originally they were just gonna, I think, have Cyclops take off his glasses and, you know, destroy the power system so that they can like free Mystique and all of them. But, you know, by the time they were about to do that, the guards were coming. They hid behind the cage that Weapon X was in. Jean used her telepathy to remove the bar. Weapon X got out, he went on a rampage, started slicing, slashing, dicing, all that stuff, blood splattered everywhere. And before he left, he ran, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler, they had, you know, ran up to him, and they tried to stop him, but Jean had helped him, and she helped give him back some of his memories, because with Weapon X, when they had changed him into the Wolverine that we know with the adamantium, they had erased most of his memories, but she recovered some of his memories from his past in order to help him when he ran away into the snow. And, you know, there's that. So, yeah, there was that. And William Stryker, of course, he ran away. He left all his people behind. He ran away. And, yeah, they freed Mystique and them, and then they pretty much went to go save Charles, who was all the way in Egypt with the 4 Horsemen and Apocalypse. And pretty much Apocalypse made him tell the world about his, you know, him coming back and him destroying the world, and about him coming back and him destroying the world and just, you know, pretty much wreaking havoc and ironic, wreaking havoc. Anyway, you know, him just, you know, coming to fuck shit up. But when he was doing this, when he was translating this message to the world, he sent a hidden message to Jean because he knew only she would hear it. And he pretty much told her, like, where to come and find her. And that was enough, you know, that was pretty much like, I know where he is. Let's go get him. They all, you know, teamed up and they went after Xavier. And they, you know, were in Cairo, Egypt, where Apocalypse had created a new pyramid. And he pretty much was going to... He pretty much was going to transfer his consciousness into Charles Xavier, because he felt like with Charles, he can then control the world. And once he has Charles' power, that telepathy, on top of the telepathy he already has, he could control the world, human and mutant alike. Because basically Apocalypse wanted to start the world anew, basically build a new world order, if you will, where mutants are on top. Now see, him and Magneto, they kind of have the same vision, whereas Magneto just wants to imprison humans and or get rid of them, depending on how he's feeling, but Apocalypse wants to annihilate them. Whereas in the first film, the first X-Men film from 16 years ago, Magneto wanted to turn the humans into mutants using Rogue's power. That was like, you know, again, 16 years ago. So anyway, they, you know, he wanted to do that, and they got there just in time to stop him, stop the process. It was pretty much a showdown, the 4 Horsemen versus, you know, them. And during the fight, Storm, she then realized that, you know, maybe I am fighting on the wrong side. It's like she woke up out of the spell that was put on her. She pretty much realized I'm fighting on the wrong side. So anyway, you know, they save Professor X because Nightcrawler teleports into the pyramid, and he saves Professor X in time. Then they go to the jet that they had stole from the Weapon X facility. It's Moira, it's Beast, Jean, Scott, Nightcrawler, Professor X. They're all in the jet. They're flying away when pretty much Psylocke and Angel go after them, and pretty much go after them. Psylocke cuts a hole into the jet. Angel, he hops in, and everybody's just like, oh shit, okay, Kurt, you have to teleport us out of here. And he uses all of his energy and teleports everybody. Remember, he's still young, and he still is getting in, you know, growing into his powers, essentially. So when he teleported all, like 5, 6, all, like, damn near a group of them, he teleported them into this, like, house that they were in. They were still in Cairo. He teleported them into this house. He was basically down for the count, because he used damn near all of his energy. So what ended up happening was Professor X had got into, he remembered that him and Apocalypse are still linked together. So he ended up using his power to, well, let's backtrack. So like I said, Psylocke and Angel had jumped on the jet, and Psylocke had cut a hole in it. So when the jet started crashing down because there was nobody to control it, Angel ended up going smack dab into the front part of the jet. Psylocke was holding on to the jet, then she flew off. She created a psychic knife, stabbed it into a building, and pretty much hopped off and knocked herself out, essentially. She was down for the count. Angel, him and the jet, it crashed, and I mean, I don't think Angel died, because again, it's like, damn, why would you introduce us to Angel in the right way? You know, you introduce us to him and turn him into Archangel. You know, you introduced us to him in the right way just to kill him off. I feel like Angel was low-key still alive. He was just probably unconscious. Actually, you know what? Let's take a pause for the cause, and let me read the synopsis of X-Men Apocalypse. That way I can see if Angel died or not. Because again, I don't think he did. But if he did, you know, it's fucked up. But hold on. Whew. People, oh my god, people will pick anything to be mad at. I'm taking a pause for the cause because I'm looking it up, but my internet's acting a little slow right now. But I just saw something that like caught my eye, and it was talking about one of the posters for X-Men Apocalypse, how it was showing the scene where Apocalypse is choking Mystique, and a lot of people are like, just whatever, like, people, I feel like they picking anything to be mad at. They pick anything to be mad at. Motherfuckers are so bored with their lives, they'll pick anything to be mad at. Anyway, any fucking way. But you lose, say Angel is defeated and... Okay, yeah, so I was right. As it says, Angel is defeated and incapacitated in the battle. So yeah, Angel simply got knocked out. He didn't die, like a lot of people probably thought that he did. He got knocked out. He didn't really die. Anyway... yeah, so Psylocke, she was down for the count. Angel, he was down for the count. Magneto, he was pretty much controlling all of the metal around the world, which thanks to Apocalypse amplifying his power, he was controlling all of the metal around the world and just, you know, bringing it all to the center of Cairo, Egypt, where they were with the battlefield. Quicksilver, his son, almost revealed to him that he was his son, but they decided to hold off on that, I guess, to the next film. But yeah, so he was there, Mystique was there, they were still out there on the battleground, and they were just, you know, pretty much trying to fight the good fight. Quicksilver, he pretty much, you know, was kicking Apocalypse's ass until Apocalypse had froze one of his legs, and then kicked his other leg and twisted his arm and was beating the hell out of him. And then Psylocke shows up, and she has her sword, and he's like, come and finish him for me. And then, like, you know, just when you think Psylocke is about to cut Quicksilver's throat and cut his head off, she ends up turning against Apocalypse. I know, right? She turns against Apocalypse. However, it wasn't really Psylocke. And I shit you not, when Apocalypse was choking Psylocke because she had turned on him, I was like, oh God, please don't kill off Psylocke. Like, I've waited 16 years for y'all to introduce her. You are not about to take her away from me. Like, I was in tears with that when that scene happened, because it's like, you are not about, like Bryan Singer, I was about to be pissed if Psylocke got killed. I was, throughout the entire battle scene, my heart was racing because like, oh my God, don't kill off Psylocke, don't kill off Storm. And it was like, because Cyclops, when him and Storm were going at it, he had like hit her foot a little bit when she had ran away, because he took off his glasses and just like let her have it, and she ran away because she wasn't trying to get blasted on, and she had like got hit in one of her heels, and I'm just like, oh God, like you are not about to kill the people of color in this damn movie. Like, you already killed off Havoc, you already took away Emma Frost from me, okay? You killed her off in Days of Future Past, which I'm still pissed about. You killed off Havoc, which I'm still pissed about. You are not about to kill off Psylocke and Storm. You're not about to do it. You're not about to do it. So anyway, it wasn't Psylocke. It was Mystique. He was choking her out for dear life, and he was pretty much telling Xavier to come and save her, else she was gonna die. Xavier remembered that him and Apocalypse are telepathically linked. Let me check the camera time. Okay, we got 10 minutes. We're good. I told y'all this is gonna be a long video, didn't I? Anyway, Professor X remembered that him and Apocalypse are still telepathically linked. He took Apocalypse into the astral plane, and in the astral plane he recreated the X Mansion. They were fighting. Professor X was getting the best of him. Then Apocalypse grew, really big and tall, like how he is in the comic books. And he ended up, beating Professor X till he was bloody and bruised. And then Professor X, he looked at Jean and he was just like, I need you to help me. Jean, oh bitch. Whew, Lord. I had to faint on that part. Hold on. Jean motherfucking Grey. She hopped her ass into the astral plane. She came behind the door that was of Cerebro. She came behind the door, was walking towards Apocalypse in the astral plane, and in the real world she was like walking on air basically. Bitch, when Professor X told her to let it go, I'm thinking she was gonna do a telepathic or telekinetic scream and just shock sending telekinetic shock waves and shit. No. When Professor X told her to let it go, God, she became the motherfucking Phoenix. She let that motherfucker go, and the Phoenix, the Firebird, came out of her, and it was like, holy shit, she already has the Phoenix Force inside of her. We don't have to wait to see it like we did with the earlier trilogy. Anyway, she let the Phoenix Force go, and Apocalypse, as his armor and suit had went off and half his skin, he was starting to disintegrate and disintegrate. That motherfucker was dead. Then Magneto had joined the fight because Apocalypse was about to attack Jean Grey and them. Magneto had threw down 2 metal rebars that formed a giant X, and then he pretty much was throwing all the metal that he collected. He used all of his new amplified powers and started throwing all the metal at him. Storm finally decided to join the good side, and she boom, like she was just using all of her lightning strike, all of her force and might. And Cyclops took off his glasses and just, it was like that's what you call a combo for anybody who plays video games. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, X-Men Legends 1 and 2. That's what you call a combo. All 4 of them just came together and just, wow. That's what you call a combo. They came together and wow, like it was amazing. Like, I really wish Psylocke would have joined the good side, but she ended up after they pretty much defeated Apocalypse and killed him. Well, let me see. Did they kill Apocalypse, or did he just basically disappear? No, they killed him. They pretty much they killed him because it says they incinerated him. Even though Apocalypse, like, they may have killed him in this movie, but I'm pretty sure he'll be back. Anyway, he's always gonna be back. Anyway, Psylocke, during the chaos of the fight, she had ended up fleeing, and it really sucks because I feel like she could have been at the X Mansion as like a teacher or whatever. For some reason, they didn't bring Angel along with them. I guess they figured, forget him too. I don't know why. But, yeah, so anyway, they defeated Apocalypse. Professor X had restored Moira's memory because he had erased it after first class because he wanted her to be safe. He restored her memory. She's at the mansion too. Storm is at the mansion, and we saw Jean and Magneto recreating the school, and then you have Mystique and Beast who are with the X-Men, Nightcrawler, Storm, Cyclops, and Jean, and Quicksilver. He's on the X-Men, which again, comic book inaccuracy. He is a part of the Brotherhood, but you know, it is what it is. Magneto left, and before the movie ends, we see the X-Men in the Danger Room going against the Sentinels, and I guess they got. Oh my god. I guess they had got prototypes from the government or whatever, and they are using the Sentinels to help them train in the Danger Room. So, and of course, Professor X had lost all of his hair because of Apocalypse, the whole transformation thing. It was like getting rid of all of his hair. So, he's now the bald Professor X that we all know. And the movie ended, and of course, the post-credit scene that I had explained earlier in this review. And that is that. Whew! Yes, this was a long video. I hope you all enjoy it. I have not done this in a long motherfucking time. God damn. I hope y'all had y'all snacks. I told y'all pause it. Well, if I didn't, you know, it was a long video. I'm pretty sure this is close to almost 50 minutes. Whew. I think I'm about done for the night. Once I, you know, work on this video and my other video and upload these two, I think I'm just about done. You guys will probably get this, if not tonight, maybe tomorrow, because I want to make sure people watch the video. And that is all I have. This is your good guy, PrinceOnyx, and I am signing off. Whew, I will see you guys later. God damn. X-Men Apocalypse, wonderful movie. Go out and see it. I know this was a spoiler review, so if you didn't want to watch it, you know, don't watch it. Go watch the movie and then come watch the spoiler review. For my comic book fans, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? What are you looking forward from in the next installment and the other spinoff of the X-Men film series, and so on and so forth. Peace. Actually, wait, let me check and see how much time I got left. Oh shit, I got 4 minutes. I can tell y'all. So anyway, they are making another movie called New Mutants, which is a spinoff of the X-Men. That is in the works. I believe they're still trying to make X-Force, so that is a fingers crossed in the works. The next installment of the X-Men film will be focused on, it'll be set in the 90s, and it will be focused on the Phoenix saga, because as I had mentioned, we saw Phoenix in X-Men Apocalypse when Jean Grey let it go, and she just the Phoenix, like she just let it go. So they're going to hopefully tap into that storyline, tap on that, and touch into that, and you know, hopefully we see Psylocke again and she joins the good side. Hopefully we see Jubilee joining in on the action, and hopefully we see Dazzler as well. So yes, and if they are gonna cast Dazzler, please pick Lady Gaga, because I feel like the role of Dazzler was made for her. Please pick Lady Gaga. She deserves to be Dazzler. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. I will be back probably tomorrow. And that is all. I will see you guys later. Peace. PrinceOnyx. See you guys.
You see me, you know I'm gonna give you the tea. All the hottest celebrity news for you. Film, TV, drama, celebrity.